I think it's really interesting. I'm trying not. I got to go there. I didn't want to, but I have to because you had mentioned like the Facebook groups. What just happened a couple of weeks ago in the
Yeah,
local
yeah,
battle rap. I don't know what they were trying to do,
yeah.
but I know they thought they fucked you up with it,
Uh,
and it
of
was
course,
corny.
yeah,
All of it was
yeah,
corny.
yeah, yeah.
Do you
I
want to
think,
talk on that at
I
all?
mean, nah, they just, I mean, but that's the thing though. Like, every so often, people are gonna want to have a conversation on like, and this is with everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's the best?
Yeah.
And so, I would never entertain it, but I was asked to by a friend of mine,
Yeah.
and so I did. And so, because I was in the conversation, because I had time, I was going back and forth with some people, and they wanted to. And here's the thing, bro. So if I go anywhere, I mean, I'm talking about you could choose any state. You could drop me off in the middle of Times Square, bro, and put me next to any of these guys around the city, right? And nobody will know them. And that's not me trying to diss. I'm just being straightforward of the work that I've put in for the last 8 to 9 years.
Right.
And on top of that, though, I get praised all around. I'm talking about from the top of the top. You know, every year they do a list, bro. They probably done maybe 6 of those lists. I made that list 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Never ranked lower than 12 out of 20,000 battlers. You know what I'm saying? So like we're talking about if we compare to like the NBA, it's like, yo, this dude has made an All NBA team 4 out of his 6 years. You know what I'm saying? And so where these guys have never even scratched, you know, any radar over there. But the conversation was like, who's the king of Tampa? And so for me, I was just like, come on, guys. Like, I'm a entertain y'all. But at the end of the day, I mean, I've done things that unfortunately you have not, and nor do I think that you're going to do it anytime soon.
Right.
And so, but it's a bunch of them because they're here, right? They're here. So because they're here, they look at like, oh, Los, you think you're better than us, and you haven't done this for us, and you're not spending time with us. And I'm like, no, I have, and I do a lot of things in the community. I do a lot of things for a lot of different artists and show a lot of love to a lot of different battlers. But I'm not gonna go ahead and showcase energy to you or invest my time and energy into you when I know that 1, it's only for your own selfish gain, and then 2, it's never been reciprocated in my career. Sure. And when I say never, I'm talking about never. I can't ever recall a time in which I'm out of town and somebody has came to support out of the battlers and said, yo, Loso, appreciate you for putting on for Tampa. Because like I told him, I said the thing about it though is like when y'all start having this conversation, it looks foolish to the rest of the world. It looks foolish to the Loaded Luxes and the Murder Mooks and the Hitman Hollers and the Sousa. I'm talking about dudes who are like Mount Rushmore, Tay-Rocks and stuff. You ask them about Florida and Tampa, there's only one name that comes up to them. And it's Loso.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was. It was going back and forth. But because I'm in the group, you know, and that's who they are,
right.
Nobody else is in the group. It's just me. Of course, they're all going to be like, you know, and it's going to look like they're quote unquote winning. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, guys, you know, wipe the Cheetos off your fingers and wipe your keyboard.
Yeah.
I have a flight to catch. You know what I'm saying?
You got a battle to go do.
Yeah. So
I was reading through those comments. I was like, what are we doing? Like, just some of the arguments. I remember, you know, who's the king of Tampa? Somebody put Tom G. It's like, that's a different conversation. That's not what this is anyway. Yeah. But Jonah and I were going through and we were talking about it. And YJ said, somebody asked Los to engage in this because he wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do this. And I mean, it was entertaining. And
they have an event coming up. They have an event coming up, and so it was. That's what the temperature of it. Like that's what it was. Like for me, entertaining that it brought some energy towards the Facebook group, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like I love helping out with that. But yeah, apart from that, I would have never done that.
Right. Now you had said that some of these guys were mentioning that maybe you thought that you're better than them, right? And
as far as like me, like my status and stuff,
right.
Yeah.
Now, but I've found myself over the years defending you, and we've never had this conversation before. But I've found myself defending you to maybe just battle rap fans, other battle rappers, or other people from the city that maybe we both know, and they're like, yeah, you know, Los is a great rapper, but he's too full of himself, he's too prideful, too this or that. And I was curious what you might think that is. Like, why do people think that? I have my own theories.
Yeah. I think whenever you're doing something at a high level, you know, and you have to communicate a certain way on stage and stuff. But I've never had someone who has been close to me, who has been working alongside me and has had those sentiments. What I have had is people who've had that presupposition, then get to know me and then recant that statement and say, damn, I thought you were like this.
Right.
But yada, 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 yada.
And that's what I always say. Like, I've known you since I'm 14, 15 years old. You've never been anything but humble, kind, gracious with your time, gracious with your advice. Like, we've done song, like, we did a song together when I was 15.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have done that song. But I appreciated that you did. You know what I mean? Like, you've always been gracious. And so my theories on that, apart from what you just said in terms of status, is, you know, you've spent a lot of time here in Tampa. You put on for Tampa, but you're also a New Yorker. Yeah. And the New York personality is very big. It's very confident. It's braggadocious, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. That's just kind of what it is. And if people aren't used to that type of personality, they might have that presupposition.
Yeah. And I will definitely agree to the point. Like, I probably have a I don't want to say characteristic, but maybe like an aura about me where I do walk into the room and maybe indirectly demand attention or something like that. But bro, like, even recently, like, I've went out, and before, you know, my whole whatever career, even prior to battle rap, like, I'd never like been in the city, right? I never went out, like, I never linked up with DJs or anything like that. Since 2022, I've been doing that. And so a lot of people who have just met me through just being outside have said, yo, when I go on your Instagram and I watch you battle and I watch you do this and I watch you do that, I would expect you to be kind of standoffish and be in the corner and be something. But bro, I talk to everyone, and I even carry myself like I'm not that. I don't walk around like I'm Loso and I need to get into this place for free and I need to do that for free. I don't do that because I love just being amongst my boys and amongst everyone else. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to support me, cool. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. And this is my city, bro. I don't want to just be like, I don't like the idea of walking around here like I need some sort of special treatment. You know what I'm saying? When I go to other cities, I do get that. You know what I'm saying? I do get that. And I mean, you know, when I walk through the airport, I get that. Or if I go here, if I go there. But in my city, I like being able to go to this sports bar, like being able to go to this sporting event or whatever it is, and just be amongst the people and just having a good time. So
and that's the thing, bro. It's like, as long as I've known you, you've always been that guy. Yeah. Before the fame, before people recognized you, it didn't matter what room that you went in, even if you didn't know anybody. Like, you were so kind and gracious to everybody, right? And that's the thing. Like, I remember coming into Trinity.
Preach.
Coming into Trinity, and I think you were in your senior year, my freshman year.
Okay.
And you know, it's brand new class, however, maybe 100 new people, and you know, you could have been, you know, how schools are set up, right? The seniors are kind of just like, hey, you know, children, stay away from me, right? You were welcoming to everybody. Everybody, like, you were just so kind to everybody, and I always thought that was something dope about you. You have this thing about your personality that I've noticed. Like, if you're having a conversation with somebody, you have a way to make them feel like they're the only person in the world that matters to you. And I think that's so dope, and that's something that I've tried to emulate in my relationships, and even outside of my relationships. If I'm just meeting somebody for the first time, I want them to know that I care about them and I value what they're saying to me, and you know, let's get to know each other, and that comes from you. And I think I've always thought that was something so dope about you.
Just try to, you know, whatever you do, whether you're, you know, doing podcasts, you're doing music, film, I mean, you want to treat you know, celebrities like regular people, and regular people like celebrities, you know, and that's how you're going to cultivate genuine relationships and stuff. Treat like the, you know, quote unquote, the regular ones, like, go overboard for them and let them know that they do mean a lot, and they are valued, and you do value their time. You know, even if if he only has like 2,000 followers, like, when you're sitting down with him, make like you are treating him as if this is Usher after the Super Bowl, sitting here. And then vice versa, you know, you don't want to overly praise anyone that is at that level. You know, you treat them like, hey, you know, they're a regular person. How you been? You know, yada yada yada, stuff like that. And I think that that's helped me out a long way. I mean, you know, like you said, I mean, I have no problem doing any podcast. Like you hit me up, I'm just like, yeah, of course, we're boys. And at the same time, you know, I'm getting DMs from Joe Budden or getting a battle hosted by Drake and stuff like that. And it's not like I'm publicizing that or bragging about that. Like I love those opportunities. But I know that those are fleeting, and you know, they're here today and gone tomorrow. Genuine, you know, relationships, and who knows, you know what I'm saying? 5 years from now, you could be Joe Budden,
right?
And you know, you're gonna remember how I treated you at this moment.
Yeah,
you're gonna remember this and say, okay, but you're also gonna remember the guys who left you on red and dubbed you, you know what I'm saying? And so people you just don't ever know, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's not the main motive. I'm just saying that could be, but just being a genuine good person just goes a long way.
Does that come from your family, or does that come from the faith? Maybe a combination of the two.
Maybe a combination of the two, but also I just think, like, I mean, you know, as you just get older, just experience, you know, and just learning, you know, how people have treated you and what you don't want to feel. So I guess it does kind of pull from the faith, right? Like the golden rule, you treat others how you want to be treated. So, you know, easy.
Yeah.